What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to tell you about the new Steam Deck news to the owners out there, the Steam Deck fans. Now, there's plenty of reasons to love the Steam Deck, right? It's portable, it could run almost any game, but there's some games you just can't run. And Valve knows that, and Valve, being a pretty cool company, has just today released Windows drivers for the Steam Deck. Now, this means you can install Windows and have it work just fine with the Steam Deck controls. But the problem is that it's not a dual boot solution. You can either have SteamOS or Windows on this. Let's take a look and see what the news actually says. So this is coming from Steam Deck HQ. At its core, the Steam Deck OLED is a PC, and it gives us a ton of freedom with how we choose to use it. Unfortunately, we've been a bit landlocked when it comes to the operating system. The device ships with SteamOS, which is a great OS, but some people want to have the choice to install Windows. Before today, we were missing the required drivers needed to get the internals of the device to be recognized, but that's all changed. Now that's big news, chat, and we're going to figure out how to do this. So earlier today, Valve officially released the Windows drivers needed to install Windows on the OLED Steam Deck. Specifically, we have the APU, SD card reader, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and the audio drivers to ensure that you are able to effectively use the system with the Windows OS. It's an amazing development for sure, and makes me extremely excited, even though I prefer SteamOS in general. Now, with that being said, I actually prefer SteamOS too. I'm not going to be installing Windows on my Steam Deck, only because I really don't want to play the games that you could play on Windows with the Steam Deck. I'd rather play it on my computer, although it's really cool that you have the option to now play games like Fortnite or Call of Duty, perhaps. Before today, you were officially locked to the SteamOS, which is great in general. Proton is amazing, don't get me wrong. Valve has done great things with that, but it's not complete yet. There's going to be ongoing work with Proton, and a lot of this stuff honestly depends on the anti-cheat, which these days are installing into the kernel of your computer. So you have to have Windows installed for the kernel to talk to the operating system, and these anti-cheats require basically the root of your hardware. So how are we going to install this? What you need to do is go over to the Steam support site and look up Steam Deck Windows resource. I'll post this in the description below so you don't have to go searching for it. So what we have here is a list of drivers for the Steam Deck OLED and LCD. So we're going to get the APU driver, the SD card reader, the Wi-Fi driver, the Bluetooth driver, and the audio drivers. After you downloaded all of these drivers, you're going to make sure you want to have these things. You want to have a Steam Deck dock, and you want to also have a USB drive so that you can install Windows on and boot from it from the Steam Deck. So in order to do that, you go over to Microsoft.com, and I will add this to the description as well. The one you want to get here is Windows 11 Installation Assistant. You download that, and you generally want to do this on a Windows computer. You plug in the USB drive, and you flash the operating system onto the USB drive. What you want to do next, whenever that's done, you take it to the Steam Deck dock, and you want to boot Steam Deck into BIOS mode. And in order to do this, you're going to power down, and then while holding the volume down button, press the power button. So once you get to that menu, then you can proceed with the installation of Windows. And then you could use that same USB drive to transfer over the required drivers that you downloaded previously onto that Windows installation and then install them like you normally would. But you might be asking, can't I just go to the website after I'm done installing Windows and download it right there? Well, no, unfortunately not. Unless you have that USB dock hooked up to an Ethernet cord, it won't work because the drivers for the Wi-Fi aren't installed. However, if you do have an Ethernet cord, it should work just fine. Now that you're armed with knowledge about installing Windows on Steam Deck, let's talk a little bit about why you shouldn't install Windows on Steam Deck. One of the biggest reasons why you shouldn't install Windows on Steam Deck is the battery life. Now, that's because the SteamOS is optimized for the entire system. Like, it was catered to the actual hardware for the Steam Deck to use. And that's why you can use the Steam Deck for hours on end if you have the right configurations. That's not to say that Windows is going to be horrible, but you have to really turn down a lot of settings in order to keep the same or somewhat the same fidelity of battery life as the original Steam Deck OS. And the second reason why you wouldn't want to install Windows is because Windows is a huge operating system, far bigger than SteamOS. So you would be sacrificing a lot of that internal SSD space that came with the Steam Deck that you're only limited to. I wouldn't recommend putting Windows on an SD card, especially a slower one. I would definitely stick to the SSD, but it's up to you whether you want to do that or not. I'm just saying, I like SteamOS a lot. I think it has come a long way. Valve has done so much good with Proton, and so many games do work on the Steam Deck. Now, like I said earlier, a lot of this is due to anti-cheat, and they're not going to give us a Linux version just for free. You have to complain. You have to, tweet at these people and let them know that their anti-cheat should be expanded to the Steam Deck, because a lot of people are using this device. You can play so many games on it, and now we have the freedom of choice on the operating system that we install. We can have Windows, we can have Linux. It's up to you. Now, what I want to know is, what are you going to do? Are you going to install Windows on your Steam Deck, or are you just going to keep SteamOS? Personally, I'm just going to keep SteamOS, but I'm glad we have the choice now. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you could hit that like button, if you could hit subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. I'd like to make more news about emulation, Steam Deck, gaming on Linux type of stuff. So what's there to lose? I mean, stick around if you like all that stuff. If you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. There's really nothing to lose here. You could also join the Discord in the description below and chat with us at All Night America. That's our Discord server we have with a bunch of other streamers, but we invite all of our viewers to join as well and hang out with us, chat with us, play games with us, and generally that kind of stuff. Now, yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you again. Sorry about the amateur-ish video. Hopefully I'll get a little bit better at this. I will see you guys next time. See you later.